and entrepreneurial things. We have our friend from Pakistan, Mr. Raheel, Javed, as well as our friend from USA, Mr. Brent Ellman. How are you today?
Doing well, thank you. How's it going, Sharif?
Okay.
Me too,
Yes.
as well. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Raheel, I think, can you please introduce yourself with our audience?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I'm MBA holder and doing job in Manu Group since 2010 in marketing and sales. And basically, our main groups which we are deal are the basically shoes manufacturers and upholstery makers, upholstery dealers. So we are actually offering the services of manufacturing goods, so uh, which are the actually the raw material of synthetic goods as well as shoes manufacturing goods. So yeah, this is my
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brent Ellman, today we're going to discuss about the entrepreneurial idea and entrepreneurial things. So how do you want to introduce the entrepreneurial idea? Because in COVID period, we have different idea, different thoughts, different environment, and different business opportunity. So how do you want to think about this entrepreneurial idea and especially opportunity in post-COVID-19 era?
Sure. I think that a big thing to consider is, automation. Robotics, technology. Um, I think that it's important to, see where trends are going in that regard, and kind of, move with them. I think that there's always going to be people that are kind of going against the grain, but I think that it's important to kind of go with these advancements. And I think that because of COVID, I think that there's a lot of push towards automation to minimize human contact because people are obviously concerned with spreading the virus through human contact. And so I think that it's possible that we'll see more and more things that minimize human contact and increase automation coming to be, for one.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you. I want to ask Mr. Raheel actually, what the entrepreneurial idea you want to share from Pakistan? What the present situations in Pakistan after
first,
the post COVID 19 era, and most
first
importantly, what the business opportunity right now Pakistan has?
first of all, it's my first stream with you, so I must say something. So could I say something here if you
Yes,
allow me?
exactly, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
actually, I'm very delighted to being a guest of your prestigious program, and it was my first stream over here with you and with Brent as well. So, before to introduce about myself or about my economy or about my country, I would say that the platform or any other platforms which are working same, which which are working same like this, are playing major role to support them basically who are newly graduates and actually have the passion to do something at their own, but basically due to some lack of uh, financial lacking of financial finance, they couldn't do. So therefore, beyond the borders, we should go for extra mile. So I would uh, I I wanted to say this. Yeah. So after that, I will come to the point that if I talk about Pakistani entrepreneurs or in Pakistan entrepreneurship situation after COVID or during COVID, so actually in Pakistan there here are two main categories of entrepreneurs. One is who are actually have the background of the business. Basically, they are inherited because uh, their grandfathers or their fathers are already working in the business and they are continue that business. So that's why somehow you can say it is these are the entrepreneurs, but others are the new graduates basically, who are newly graduates and who are getting the degrees of MBA or BBA in business administration or other kind of categories, and they are basically wanted to get the they are basically wanted to get the support of our economy. So that's why for this purpose, here in Pakistan, different kinds of institutions are offering the services or offering the platform, like incubation centers basically, who are supporting them or who are encouraging them or who are uh, hiring them to to offer or to execute new ideas which actually they have in their minds. So this is the main theme here in Pakistan or existing. Or during COVID, all businessmen and all entrepreneurs are basically got fed up or panic due to the crisis all around the world, which actually we were facing. So all these scenarios, if I would say that Pakistan is the strong economy, no doubt. It is now emerging because before that it was actually the not the emerging economy or not the emerging country. So that now after COVID or during COVID, new entrepreneurs were playing the major role, and that was the like that was they are offering the online services, because all of it all companies or all restaurants or all businesses and all shops basically all were closed, and the one thing which they are working actually, and they are based on their online services and online working. So they are they have drastically changed their. Hello, are you?
Yes, we are listening. Rahel, can you hear me? I think Mr.
Yes.
Brent, he has a problem with internet, and sometimes he has a problem. Maybe he need to express more that how he want to explain. Can you help me to understand like what does it like the ecosystem he's trying to explain, that how we can, as you have a, close integrations with.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, he was. I think what Raheel was talking about, the two of the different types of entrepreneurs out there, and that there are some people who are, they have the background in the industry, and they inherit their positions or they inherit their business, and then on the other side they have people that he was talking about, who are more so scholarly, graduates and things like that, and he was talking about um, how they have incubation centers in Pakistan to help with
Hmm.
the latter half, because the latter half of these entrepreneurs in Pakistan, they don't really have the financial fortitude to be able to really go ahead and follow through on some of these dreams, and so they, like you said, they've got these incubation centers to help them out there. And he was also talking about the fact that currently, because of COVID, there's been a shift where a lot of these companies out there have transitioned offering online services.
Mhm. Excellent. I just want to know, as you have a integration with different developing countries like Pakistan's, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Malaysia, and other country, like how do you want to define the economical aspects in COVID period? This kind of developing countries, what your aspect, what your understanding about them, how you want to uh, analyze about their economy.
I mean, it really kind of just depends on what, the economy's a big thing. So, I mean, it really kind of depends. Are we talking about, their national economy and how they're working with other companies, or are we talking about internal workings? Because I think that there's a big, a big probably division in thought between where we're at in our society as a world, as a global society, um, transitioning towards these towards an international global society where we've got folks from all these different countries working together, and that's been kind of the shift over the last handful of decades. But now with COVID, people now suddenly want to, like, close their borders, make these kinds of here in the United States, Donald Trump is preventing certain he's creating tariffs and things like that, trying to help boost American the American economy. But I think that personally, I think that the world economy should be something that we focus on. But I mean, you can't just ignore your own nation. So I think that it's just finding a balance between those two. And then like I said um, before, I think that just on the individual business side, and as Raheel was talking about, integrating automation and things like the internet, so that you don't need to have that human to human contact, to minimize that potential vector of disease transfer, virus transfer.
Mhm, mhm.
So I think
Okay.
those are some big things, just COVID related. And then technology, of course. All of these, different technologies related to the internet. Drop shipping is very big. You see a lot of people all over the world. You talk about Bangladesh and Malaysia. And these people that find little niche ways to involve themselves in these different drop shipping things. I've met a number of people who work with sellers on Amazon, and they will help organize credited purchases to help boost up their sales on products online and things like that. And I see people out in Bangladesh or in Pakistan doing things like this. So I think that there's a lot of options out there.
One specific things like in COVID period, actually, different country has healthcare related problems, especially like a country like uh, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. They have a lot of issues in the uh, like this COVID period, especially healthcare system. What your understanding? What do you think about this healthcare system? How they can improve in this area?
Sure. I mean, the big thing that you know that they talk about here in the United States wanting is, like, single payer healthcare, where we all kind of have a base healthcare that's related to our tax that we pay for through taxes, and that would be helpful, because I think that a big issue with people is that at least in certain places you have healthcare through a job, and then you leave your job, you lose your job somehow, and then you need to find healthcare again, and then people who are in those positions and they have pre-existing conditions, it really gets tough for them, and I think that we are we are lucky here in the United States to have things like Medicaid. But I think that there are other countries that really don't have those kinds of those things to those beneficial programs. And I think that something that isn't really considered is the fact that when you don't pay for a program like Medicaid in a different country, there's just more costs that pile up, because you create, each any kind of pandemic type situation is just so much worse. Any type of disease outbreak, anything like that, it just is so much worse when you don't have the infrastructure in place, and the healthcare in place. And so, that's why it's really important to, in the United States, for instance, everyone is has to have healthcare now. It used to not really be like that. For a little bit, we would even fine people, and people here would get fines if they didn't have healthcare. And I think that we don't really need that necessarily, but I think that if there was a way for us to, it's for countries to typically have healthcare provided for everyone. I think that's in some way, even just a basic program, just to kind of prevent things from getting worse than they need to be.
Mhm. Okay,
Hey, Raheel.
interesting. Yes, Mr. Rahel, we want to know more about the, let's say, Pakistan's present conditions in COVID period, and what the situation in healthcare systems and what's happening right now.
Basically, during COVID, Pakistan health department was working at extremely extreme side, because as we all know that all around the world we were facing COVID-19, and uh, and as well in Pakistan. So in Pakistan, situation was something better than other countries, because here in Pakistan, weather was changed due to some weather condition. Uh, uh, COVID-19 was not affecting like the other countries. So in Pakistan, basically health department is not, mm, you can say, not up to the standard at that time. But now later on COVID-19, it was very well, because here in President of Pakistan, in fact, are funding the healthcare center and promote the uh, remotely the remote areas where the health department uh, was not working well. So they basically they prepared the teams, and as well as they prepared the force for healthcare department, and they assigned them the targets to establish the health department in rural areas, where the in routine life, in daily routine, access was not possible to the health center workers like doctors or nurses, or because all they are working in urban areas, because in urban, COVID-19 was affecting, and rather than rural areas. So, but now later on, COVID-19 position seems to be better, and government uh, support them at provincial level, and they are funding the health departments very intensively, basically.
Mm. Okay, we want to know more about the Pakistan, especially this COVID period. What's the situation in employments and economical other issues? What's going inside in Pakistan?
So, if I talk about the current position of Pakistan as about employment, so same like other countries here in Pakistan during COVID, were getting layoff the lay off their uh, jobs, and all companies were downsizing, and they are affecting by the COVID, and due to some financial crisis, they were not supporting their staff. But government government was support all of their workers, all of their financial, uh, basically financial departments or finance departments, to for that, or and they are offering uh, they are offering the loans with low percentage of interest or 0% markup. So basically, our president, Imran Khan, uh, has the aim that nobody get out of the job during COVID, because here in Pakistan, uh, inflation rate is increasing day by day. So that's why, due to inflation, everything is going at boost up in the prices level. So this is the major factor. Basically, every mediocre or below the average person was facing during COVID, or as well as during current situation. So for this reason, overhelping, they were government department was trying actually to support the small industries as well as medium medium industries, uh, as they support their employees, and don't they were trying that don't get the employees out of their job. So right now employment is employment situation was restate like before the COVID. So nowadays situation is very well about employment sector, government as well as private.
Mhm.
And if I talk about my our company where I'm doing job, so they were also supporting us, and right now they are they are supporting
Mhm.
as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Beside that, we want to know more about what do you mean by entrepreneurial idea? What type of idea you can share with the global community? And
Ba-
Mr. Brent Ellman, if you can help him to creating some sort of idea, business idea, entrepreneurial idea for today's sessions, he want to share with us. Yes, Mr. Rahel.
yeah. Basically, during COVID, when everyone was stopped, and there was a big gap during between the buying buyers and sellers, because there was not any seller, a single seller who were in person, or who were basically selling their products uh, in front of the customers at their shops, because shops were was closed. So at that time online business was flourished, and rapidly they were getting growth rapidly. So the basically mobile app, as you know, Android or Apple or any sort of like that. So mobile apps is a has the major growth in online business. Basically, despite the crisis impact, the mobile app spending in expected to double by 2024. Moreover, if I talk about moreover, drawback will moreover download, sorry, not drawback, download download will reach 183.7 billion, which is 9% more from the forecast made before COVID-19. So basically, the online business is flourishing now, and there and online business is basically the is drastically increased in all around the world. So
Mhm,
if you wanna do something as an entrepreneur, so you have to do something online rather than in person.
mhm,
So online shopping is a big platform like Amazon, like eBay. Here in Pakistan, Daraz is a big platform, and as well as if I talk about the internationally, Alibaba Express, AliExpress or Alibaba are working well in online businesses. So basically, it is a research that in online shopping it was very high during COVID, and Amazon says it is out of stock of household, and and delivers and delivers are delayed due to demand, which was very rapidly increased.
mhm,
So this is the major factor where we can play our role as an entrepreneur. Bec- as you know, as you can see that in your surrounding as well, that everything from health to electronic or daily routine life things, which you can say FMCG products, fast moving consumer goods like uh, sugar, wheat, flour, like things. You can purchase these from online stores as well, and they are, and along with that, you can buy groceries as well from the online stores. So basically, if anybody wants to do something, so I must say that he and she has to perform their services or their product in online platform. So here I have a big list of different businesses which actually working in all around the world or in Pakistan as well. But 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 still there are some space or room where every entrepreneur can play their role, can play his or her role. So one of them, pick up and delivery, like everything which you want to get or buy, uh, you have to pick up, and after that um get that product at your house. So pickup and deliveries is a major source of entrepreneurship in this after COVID or during COVID era.
Mhm,
Pickup and delivery service. Basically,
mhm,
it's a part. It's a service based sector where
mhm,
where you can offer your services of delivery and pickup
mhm, mhm,
all products.
mhm, mhm.
Are
Okay.
you listening?
Yes, yes, yes. I want to ask questions to Mr. Brent. There
Hello.
are one of the questions from the audience. What are the small business which will help to boost economy to overcome the situations? Thank you. So, what do you want to say, Mr. Brent? And especially, he come up with the idea of, I think, product delivery. What do you want to say about the supply chain management issues? According to his discussions, how actually supply chain management create impact in economy, in the business, in the and how technology can integrate it with the supply chain management. Mr. Brent Ellman, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, as Raheel was talking about, pickup delivery, the delivery services are definitely helpful. Here in the United States, there's a number of different companies that do different types of delivery services.
Yeah.
They're diverse too. There's one company here called Postmates, and Postmates is kind of like what Raheel's talking about, where Postmates helps with the supply chain and helping things get to the consumer. But with Postmates, you can get a very diverse array of items. You can get
Yeah.
things delivered from all sorts of towns, as or all sorts of vendors rather. There are some applications and companies like Grubhub is one of them, or DoorDash is another one. And these companies, Uber Eats, they deliver food. But the way that these companies work is that they have a set
Yeah,
list of
exactly.
restaurants that you can order from. And you open the application and they tell you exactly the restaurants that they serve from. And so there's another one called Postmates. And Postmates was once it required a little bit of a larger infrastructure, but it's kind of like what Raheel was talking about, where with Postmates you can get something delivered from anywhere. They don't need to already be connected with the store. They just the application itself, helps you get that sorted out. And I think that to just answer your question a little bit more, I think that a big thing that will benefit, something that like for smaller businesses to answer that question was just development, application development, programming, things like that. Uh, AI and machine learning development, those types of processes. I think that those are things that will programming will always be something that's needed, and I think that, yeah, as Raheel is saying, I think that it's essential for companies to have those types of outlets, and I think that it's we're in a time where having a website isn't necessarily enough, and we may need to you might need to have a highly functioning website. And I think that something I was just thinking about a little moment ago as Raheel was talking about was that if I wanted to create a website, they've got Wix, and maybe I'm just ignorant on this topic, but Wix is just one of many programs that you can use to help build websites with ease. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s, you needed to get a web designer to help you create these websites. Now it's so easy, just about anyone can do it. But then you want to talk, we're talking about applications themselves, app development for your Android, your iPhone. And I've thought of applications over the years where I've thought, oh, maybe that would be a good idea, but I don't really know how to develop an application. And I'm just wondering if there are programs out there similar to Wix, that make it so that you can easily develop an application, so that if you wanted to create a program, so if you had a restaurant, or if you had a chain of restaurants, and you wanted to create an application to deliver the food that you guys are cooking up, how easily would that be in today's day and age to just make your own app? Do you still need to find an app developer? Is there an application for making applications? And I think that would be a good idea.
So
Mm,
I will put one example over here about pick up and delivery services. Here in Pakistan, one is the major platform is Food Panda. Food Panda. Basically, Food Panda is uh, offering services between the uh, uh, person who is cooking food at their home at small level, and they don't have the right platform, or don't and that person don't have uh, the basically shop, or the restaurant where they can offer their services. But Food Panda is provide the service where buyer and seller are 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 creating their accounts in that platform, and buyer buyer find the things or food which they actually want to eat at that particular time, and they were clicking in their application in that application, or that platform, so you can easily find food actually which you wanted to eat, and the supplier basically the cook cook maker, basically they will supply that product by the Food Panda, and Food Panda staff will go there to pick up the food and deliver at their doorstep of his customer.
mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, okay, excellent. But I
I
want to
like
know.
that.
Yes, I want to know from Mr. Brent actually how actually in USA incubators, business incubators, where different kind of startup comes, they train themselves, they develop themselves from the idea to the and they start from idea, then step by step they go to the markets. And uh, what's the idea about this incubator, how it works, how do you want to share the idea with our friend Mr. Rahels? And also I want to know what's happening in Pakistan and how it works, how we can integrate it, this idea.
Well, honestly, from my discussions with Raheel, it almost sounds as though in Pakistan there's more opportunity for incubation type programs. Here in the United States, I don't really see that as much. We have, there's lots of opportunities for loans, and there's you can go find investors and things like that. But so far as just outright incubation centers, I'm sure they exist, but I'm not super hip to them. I've kind of, there wasn't anything that I've been directed towards. Um, so I mean, here in the United States, I mean, yeah, it's like I said, it's just uh, there's a lot of it's easy to network and things like that, but there's not. I don't know of any incubation centers. I think Raheel maybe what he's
Mhm,
discussed about the incubation centers in Pakistan has been interesting to me. But I mean, I could just be not in the know.
mhm, mhm. Okay, Mr. Rahel, what do you want to share about
Yeah,
this incubation
yeah.
center? Yeah.
Basically, incubation is the center where anybody who has an idea about to get about to do something new, but that person or that buddy has no finance, and the incubation centers here in Pakistan are providing the finance, are providing the source of basically uh, source of supply, the things, and they are offering the place for office where they can sit and and to do some task as well for their entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial idea, as well as they offer the market where they can sell or where they can play their task. So basically, they are offering the things like finance, like market. Third thing is place, and fourth thing is the entrepreneurial gurus.
Hmm.
Basically, gurus basically who are already are the business giants or business tycoons, and they are basically providing the support to them who are basically want to do something, wants to do something, but they have don't uh, basically so much capital. So here in Pakistan, so many incubation center in Lahore or different regions. Here in Lahore, TIC, Nust Technology Incubation Center in Islamabad, here in Pakistan, are performing their task and hiring the new entrepreneurs and provide the space to do something. After that, in Lahore, Plan 9 incubator, and after that, along with Plan 9, NIC, National Incubation Center, which is based in LUMS, Lahore University of Management Sciences. They are basically the university. LUMS is the university who has the incubation center in his premises. So here, if I talk about the incubation center, actually they are playing very well. They are playing their task or they are offering their services very well, because by the incubation centers every day they are generating new entrepreneurial they are generating new entrepreneurs basically here in Pakistan. So many examples we have, like these entrepreneurs, like here in Pakistan, is one is medical centers, basically uh, mobile uh, mobile healthcare center. They are offering their services in remote areas, because where in where actually the hospitals doesn't exist over there, and the doctors are not performing their duties over there, but that mobile that mobile basically uh, mobile van, and in that mobile van two doctors and two surgeons and one or two nurses over there along with that staff, and complete staff in mobile van. They are visiting there in remote areas and check the patients and give them the medicines as well. So it is also the kind of incubation center because they support the idea of them. So after that, one is uh, that is grocery delivery. It is also the part of incubation center because it is an idea. They are also incubation
Mhm. Uh, thank you, Mr. Rahel. I have to ask questions to Mr. Brent because there is a specific question from Mr. Brent from Karan. His question is that, hello, Brent. Good evening.
yeah.
Even
My questions to you. It is easy to motivate the educated people uh, regarding entrepreneurship, but how to motivate the person who is not educated? What about them? What is your suggestion regarding this?
sure. Well, I think that everybody's got something that they can be useful in regards to who they are as a person. Everyone has their own specific traits and talents, and I think that the entrepreneurial spirit itself is contagious. And so I think that just being around people that are trying to make things happen
Mhm.
can really influence and encourage and inspire people. And so I think that it doesn't require intense degrees of education to become an entrepreneur. It really doesn't require any of that stuff. All it really requires is an idea and the foresight on how to go and follow through on that idea. And I think that those incubation centers, they're really interesting to me. If I was in a country where I didn't really have the opportunity for secondary school, to go to a university and things like that, and I wanted to start my own business, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do, I would just go down to one of those incubation centers and see what other people are doing and try to work with other people, because that excitement that comes with, creating a brand and creating a company and things like that, it really is contagious. And so I think that, I think that maybe educated isn't necessarily, and obviously there are folks that are more educated than others, and I think that again, these places, like these incubation centers, and even just the internet, or finding people that are specialists in things that that you're not good at. Because I know for me, I try to be aware of my own downfalls, be aware of the things that I'm not the greatest at, and find people that I can, that will be able to do those things for me, who are much more capable. And so, I think that, instead, just being educated through books and schooling isn't really, um it doesn't really make one more capable. It does, I guess, in a certain way. It absolutely does, don't get me wrong. But I think that, it's possible to succeed. There's tons of people historically who have succeeded in doing great things without having a major education. And I think that, being around it and proving, seeing that that's a possibility is really important. I think that, everyone knows people like Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, but I think that maybe, trying to realize how people that aren't as brilliant or well off are also succeeding. I think that trying to, like, undercover some of those stories and see how some of those people did it is definitely helpful and motivating.
Mhm. Excellent. Mr. Rahel, I want to know that how actually these incubators in Pakistan, they're actually helping their community and educate themselves, motivate themselves. Can you give us some insights? And specifically, if you give us some of the information that these incubators doing work in that way. Let's say in Malaysia we have Cyberja. In Cyberja, if you go Magic, Malaysian Global Innovation and Creativity Centers, they're affiliated with Stanford University, and they are doing fantastic work on that. So how do you want to share some of the examples? How do you want to share some of the success story you want to share with us?
Yeah. So here in Pakistan, I told you already that so many incubation centers, but National Incubation Center is the major and the bigger part of that. So NIC is basically the affiliated with Lumps University, which is situated in Lahore, Pakistan, and he is the leading institute in commerce and business line as well. And the incubation center which he is running that institute, which running that institute basically NIC, and the example of incubation center and and they are specialized in entrepreneurial ideas. In Pakistan, one idea is plastic money. Plastic money, you can say, it is the idea here in Pakistan. Three uh, three university fellows who actually uh, uh, got the idea, and they went there in NIC and offer them offer them idea of the plastic money, like uh, 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 right now I don't have the name of that buddy or that group. So and so many lots of so many other examples over here in Pakistan. Basically, the Medfair, you can say Medfair. Basically, Medfair uh, is a medical as well as a welfare. Basically, it's a hybrid form of two things. Med basically stands for medicines, and fair basically comes from welfare. Welfare, and the guy wa- wanted to support or contribute in the economy of Pakistan. Basically, they wanted to supply that particular product, which product of medicine. Basically, they were focusing uh, on medicine, and that kind of medicine which are actually not available uh, in Pakistan, and they had correlated with the uh, bigger big platforms like big companies of medicines, and they actually are im- importing the medicines in Pakistan, and and they are and as well as they are supplying the medicines at their doorsteps who are actually want to buy. And just how they can how the basically uh, the buyers can medicine from that department or from that institute. Just if you have a prescription of doctor prescription, and just you have to put in the pic of that prescription in the application, and right there right uh, right there over the right that time over there, they just get the prescription, and they just uh, uh, they just arrange the medicines and deliver them. And doctor Mr. Doctor is also a example of incubators. Basically, they are also the example of NIC, and NIC has supported them as well. Mr. Doctor is also like this kind of platform. So
Mhm.
right now, in this time of era after COVID, we currently 25th of October is the last deadline, and NIC is again also offering their services to and offer their services to newly graduates or newly basically the new blood, basically fresh blood, and they have if they have the idea, if they have the new idea, and if they have the unique idea, they come there and offer the idea, and they will definitely support them, and in future they will get success as well.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. There is a two more questions I want to take from audience. Then I will go for the concluding remarks. I want to ask these questions to Mr. Brent. Uh, it's from Shohil Rana. Hello. Do you tell us the entrepreneurship research model is the most famous? I think he wants to know more about any of the entrepreneurship research model. And another thing is how to encourage university students to choose social entrepreneurship as a career path after graduation. This is from Shohel Rana and then Hosne Arafeddos. Mr. Brent.
The first question, I'm not too sure exactly which research model is the most famous. Raheel, would you know more about that?
Yeah, basically, if I talk about the entrepreneur or an entrepreneurship, there is not any specific the research model. Yeah. So
Yeah.
just if anybody have the idea, they can go there. And university, every university here in Pakistan is supporting his or her idea. And
Mhm.
if his or her idea have the potential, definitely they support them and refer to the incubation centers as well. Every
Mr.
university
Brent.
here in Pakistan.
So far as the second question, though, how to encourage students and graduates to lead down the entrepreneurial path. For me, I
Yes.
think that what really encouraged me growing up was that it wasn't that all of a sudden when I was 18 or 20 or 25 years old and I realized that I wanted to go into down the entrepreneurial path. When I was young, I would do all sorts of things. Just be encouraged to kind of think with that cap on, if you will, with that, just think in that context. Just even from when I was 12 years old, selling lemonade at a lemonade stand, trying to figure out how to best sell lemonade, just things like that. And I think that encouraging people in their youth really is a great way to enable people to be already entrepreneurial minded by the time that they're a graduate. But then I think to answer the question a little more directly, I think that things like low interest loans, these programs that Raheel's talking about with these incubations, the incubation programs, I think that those are some great things to really, help encourage people to get
Mhm.
involved and go
Mhm.
down that path.
Yes. Mr. Rahil, what do you
I
want to say?
Yeah, yeah. I must say to the youngers who are upbringing now
Mhm.
in universities or different institutions as well, about who are basically having the business background studies. So actually, right now, beyond the borders, we need we need to go for extra mile, because because when we do something new, or when we do the entrepreneurship, or when we do the business, no doubt, from the root level, from the very smaller level, you can start, you can initiate, but later on it will definitely success and will definitely the bigger level. But but due to business, you can definitely get the bigger benefit than your job, because your job is just like a jail of boss, basically, because in job you cannot do anything with your intention, with your sorry with your with your own satisfaction. You have to do everything. You have to do everything, each and everything with your boss directions. That so
Mhm.
I must say every student should try to and to brainstorm his or her mind
Mhm.
and try to get the new ideas and to participate in the and to contribute or participate in the incubation centers or the basically exhibitions about business exhibitions. So
Mhm.
definitely new graduates which actually having the business graduates or
Mhm.
business background, definitely, and surely they have to join that organizations and same and that incubations are also uh, available in social media as well, like your department as well, or you are the president of one platform. Basically, that is something like a incubation center. I think so. Yeah.
Mhm.
So definitely, if
Mhm.
if everybody, if every student do
Mhm.
participate something at your own level, so it will definitely will get the impact at higher level.
Mhm.
So so I will recommend two or three new ideas,
Mhm.
which you can say you cannot say the new like, but it's these ideas are have the potential right now as well.
Mhm.
Drop shipping. Do you know about drop shipping? What is
Yes.
drop shipping,
Yes.
Mr.
Can you
Turk?
hear me?
You
Definitely.
Yes.
do you know about?
Yes. I think
Yeah,
everybody knows dropshipping
drop.
is a model of the business. Yes, in
Yeah,
the online business. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, business. So right now, drop shippers are working very well all around the world. And here in drop shipping basically uh, are the are the successful in UK, USA, Canada, or Europe as well. But in emerging countries or in underdeveloped countries, basically it is not existing. So should be more focused on uh, drop shipping business in Bangladesh, in India, um, uh, mostly students, youngers are working drop shipping. But here in Pakistan, if I talk about Pakistan, I don't think so that somebody is doing drop shipping because nobody knows what is drop shipping. So I must
Mhm.
say, for Pakistani students or Bangladeshi students, that should be should do study about drop shipping as well as one thing more, uh, virtual assistant.
Mhm.
If somebody has not the idea has not the idea about virtual assistant, he have to he or she has to Google it. Virtual assistant basically, as you know very well, Mr. Sharif and Mr. Brent, it is also a business, uh, well business idea. Uh,
Mhm.
you can offer your services at Fiverr or Upwork. Basically, it is sort of like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Okay, thank you, thank you. One of the important thing I want to add, because our audience want to know more about the entrepreneurship research model. So I shared the entrepreneurship research model articles for our audience. So here actually they can understand that how entrepreneurship work, because entrepreneurships, what we know that it's exactly the way of how you perform. Your performance is most important for entrepreneurship, because you have to make your business, you have to make your money and everything. So on the other hand, there are different kind of relationships. This is very good journal according to my knowledge. The audience actually get a very good model for entrepreneurship research. And in this model, actually there are few things I just want to relate, that when you have an entrepreneurial activities, you have to create a relationships with some of the activities. Let's say you have to be dedicated, and you need some resource and skills. You have your learning process, what we already discussed. We have your capabilities, substantial capabilities. You have the dynamic capabilities, and definitely you need organizational knowledge. When we make a better ecosystem in between these things, we can come up with a very good entrepreneurial performance. I think our audience come up with a very good questions about this entrepreneurial research. If they want, they can get these articles from here. I think they can download it. And I just want to share the name of these writers, the researcher names. Shekhar Ejahers and Mr. Henry, and the topic is on entrepreneurship and dynamic capabilities, model and research agenda. So I think
And
that for our audience, they can understand this point. Yeah.
Perfect.
Mr. Sharif, 3 points more you, I think so, should be incorporated with this. So one is to have a strong purpose, basically, which what you actually are going to do. Have a strong purpose behind that. Number one, and the second one is make it cheap as you can. Make it cheap because basically when you are going to entrepreneurship, it is something different than business. Business is entirely changed, and when we talk about entrepreneurship, it is something different, because in entrepreneurship we do something with little money, with little finance, with little capital. So we have to make it cheap as we can. And third one is make it long lasting, because whenever you want to get the new
One point I
something new,
just want to know, if you make something cheap, and then
yeah,
you have to, you cannot maintain the quality of your product or services, then how you can survive with your business? You
yeah,
like, you make something cheap, and you cannot,
yeah,
because the more you have, I understand that developing nations, it has cheap
yeah,
labor or the cheap place or the other things. But if we cannot maintain the real price, is it not create some conflicting and other things? There are few more interesting questions. I just want to take these things, if you allow me. And I think Mr. Brent can discuss on that points. Should the government and organizations support the development of entrepreneurship and innovations? And last thing, do you think there is an impact of career adaptability to the entrepreneurship intention? Okay. Yes. Mr. Brent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, both questions are pretty resounding yeses. I think that entrepreneurship should be, the government and these organizations should absolutely help to encourage folks to go down that path, because I think that the road of entrepreneurship is really one of self empowerment. And so I think that by helping folks empower themselves through, self sufficiency, by creating their own means of production and means of profit for themselves, creating jobs for other people, things like that. I think that there's so much benefit to be had in that it should be a no brainer that governments and other organizations should be helping as much as possible. Because it just creates more opportunity for everyone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Excellent. Mr. Rahel, so you are on the point of creating some products with a low
make it
price, as
cheap.
well as
Yeah,
if you want to
yeah.
add something about the entrepreneur intentions and this point. Yeah.
Basically, uh, major. portion or major substantial portion of our economy of in our country or in developing countries are basically based on mediocres or below average people, you can say. So we have to focus that market because we shouldn't focus the main focus on the elite class. We have to focus the middle class or lower middle class because
Mm.
it is your major market where you can penetrate your product and get the bigger profit as well. So you have to try to develop or to launch your product as much as you can cheap. Basically, I meant I meant to cheap over here. Say that cheap is basically something different over here. I don't think so. Right
Cost
word
effective.
is cheap. Low cost, you can say. Basically, low selling price, you can say. Competitive price.
Cost
Competitive
effective.
price.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, cost effective. It based on cost effective model basically. So I think so. If I talk about like any product like shoe, shoe. Yeah. If let's suppose, Mr. Sharif, you are making shoes. So and which and you are basically uh, what is first you have to
Okay.
focus on your target
One
market.
point. One point. I
Yeah.
want to focus on these discussions because one of the things, because we have to follow, I believe I'm trying to helping you, that this is discipline entrepreneurships. This is one of the modern topic that everybody focusing right now, that we have to be very disciplined. Yes, market research is important, as well as you are very come up with a very interesting idea of price, because price, I
Mm,
understand that Pakistan's, India, Bangladesh,
mm,
this kind of
mm.
country is a price sensitive, so price is very important. So you want to reach how many peoples you have right now in Pakistan?
Population
Population,
about
yes.
yeah, uh, 25 crore, you
Okay,
can
okay.
say.
So it's more than 250 million peoples. So
Yeah,
this is a big
250.
amount of people. So the more they can reach in a strategic way, they can get big market. That is your, I think, targets you want to share with us. So thank you, thank you. It's a very nice discussions, and Mr. Brent, you come up with a very good idea of entrepreneurships, and you especially, I want to give special thanks to Mr. Raheel for the for he's come up with a very strategic idea, informations, and this point from Pakistan's, which is very important for World Talent Economy Forums. And definitely in the futures, we want to work with a different kind of developing nations. We definitely invite different kind of people. So I directly, we are actually Asia Research and Development Institutions, Al Noor Academy, Sarhadia Barhad. And most important thing is that uh, like anyway, there are more questions actually from audience, so we are working together and we are trying to uh, help the global community, and we are trying to integrate it with the global community. I want to give a special thanks to Mr. Brain that you bringing my friend from Pakistan. This is very very interesting for us. There are few more questions. I just want to give answer to them because Mr. Azizur Rahman, hello. Any advice on how to find potential PhD supervisor in marketing, entrepreneurship, digital capabilities, social marketing, other than regular formal email strategy? Yes, in Malaysia, there are many. As I live in Malaysia, there are many University of Malaya, Taylor's University, Lim Kok Wing University, Sunway University, many public and private universities. But you can communicate. They have, every university have entrepreneurship departments, and they are really doing hard works and research on entrepreneurships. Even we arrange entrepreneurships conference and summit. You can join this kind of conference and summit. You can find different scholars, different professors, and they can help you. And last questions and the last things and the concluding remarks I want to take from Mr. Brent and Rahel's. Mr. Karen Lambu, he said, entrepreneurs are born or made. Don't you think it's misleading someone who is desperately trying? Anyway, so first I want to take opinions and the closing remarks from Mr. Rahels. Then I will go to Mr. Brent. Yes.
Uh, if, if I talk about the uh, misleading or dispiriting people, so first thing is patience. I must say, first thing is patience. Basically, we have to do something, but with patience. If we have a unique idea or the idea based on the very big potential, so we don't have to share with everyone. We have to share just with the relevant person, like incubators, like supporting guys like you and like Mr. Brent. So they they for that guys or they actually will definitely support uh, that guy and 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 help them as well. So I think so. Uh, are you listening?
Yes,
Are you listening?
Yep.
exactly.
I I, I think so. I think so that everyone has to try that how he and she can contribute in their economy at a smaller level, but with with bigger idea. So I think so. It's all my side, and Mr. Brent will add something with this.
Sure.
Mhm,
No
mhm.
problem.
Thank you, Mr. Brent. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely a misleading notion to think that good entrepreneurs are born. I think that there are some inherent traits and capabilities that some people are more, some people just more naturally have than others. But I think that at the end of the day, I think that one of the big things that everyone needs to do that wants to go down the path of entrepreneurship is to figure out what they're good at, to figure out what their strong key traits are. And I think that because I personally find that one of the most important things in the entrepreneurial task is to learn how to delegate tasks and to be able to understand what it is that we're good at as individuals and what are some things that we can find other people who would be better suited to complete certain tasks. And I think that if we're really artful at if we're masterful at the art of delegation, that we can really do anything, because we can bring whoever, if I don't know how to program, I don't know how to use Linux or Python, I find somebody else who can do that. If I'm not an artist, I can find an artist to help me with graphic design or whatever it might be. And so I think that focusing on our capabilities is helpful in one way, in the sense that it's good to find other people to fill the gaps that can do the things that we're not very good at. But I think that if we just overwhelm ourselves with our insatisfactory qualities, we're all good enough. We just need to actually put the time into it and the effort into it. No one, well, not no one, but it's very rare for people to go and give it a shot and try one thing and succeed on their first shot and have everything go perfectly as planned. That's not really how it goes. It's a learning process, and failure is part of that process. And I think that we shouldn't be concerned with comparing ourselves with others. And I think that everybody is capable of finding their own success. So I think
Mhm.
that ultimatums, you know, concepts like that, people are born leaders or people are born entrepreneurs. I think that that is very misleading. as was pointed out.
Excellent. This is actually a very good idea. Even World Talent Economy Forums, we have our content available in YouTube, WTEF Forums. You can find even from MIT, from the IBMs, and from Silicon Valley to Cyberja, everywhere. Many of the professional group of peoples, transhumanists, and many of the group of people, they are joining with us. And so, any of the content you want to use for your developments, you can. Mr. Rahels, even any of the Pakistani schools, universities, they want to join with us, they can. So thank you for your session. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Welcome.